Hi, everyone. I'm Heather with the Old Schoolhouse, and I am here again with Nadeem of CTC Math. If you saw all our promotional materials, you saw that we were going to be interviewing Pat Murray, the founder of CTC Math. He was not able to make it today, but stay tuned because he will most likely be able to come another time. So just keep up watching the Homeschool Lives, and you're going to learn so much about CTC Math today with Nadeem. He knows all things CTC Math. He's worked in the marketing department for years, and we are so excited to hear from him today. Hi, Nadeem. Thank you for joining me today.
Hey, Heather, and I'm sorry to disappoint that Pat's not here. I know he's way more exciting and way more cool than I am, but I'll try my best.
Okay, it's not a disappointment, but thank you so much. As many of you know, CTC Math is based out of Australia, so Nadeem has graciously graced us with his presence bright and early in the morning, and we are just so grateful and thankful for that. So, we have definitely talked about CTC Math here. Many of you watching may use it with your children. Many have maybe heard about it and have not yet taken the plunge. But there are some exciting new features at CTC Math. Nadeem, can you tell us about some of those?
Yeah, sure. I mean, it's hard not to start with the mastery. It was a recently released feature, and it came out just before the start of the school year. And what is mastery? Well, it's an even better measure of how well a student really understands the lesson. And we really encourage and reward students to try more questions to reach and succeed a higher level of difficulty. Um, those who use CTC Math may be aware that the questions are adaptive in nature. So we use a really clever algorithm that adjusts the difficulty, the question difficulty based on the student's ability. And the mastery is just the highest difficulty level that student achieves for a lesson. It's really cool visually. Students can get 1, 2, 3, or 4 stars, and the level of stars indicates whether they're at an elementary, basic, sound, or excellent level. And I guess the main benefit is that it motivates the students to see a wider range of questions. It unlocks more challenging questions with greater depth and really delivers the right question at the right time, increasing confidence, enjoyment of math. Um, and for parents, it is a diagnostic tool in that it
Mm.
identifies gaps in student learning where further work is needed and really facilitates individualized learning so that children learn at their own pace. But we love the mastery, and we've had so much positive feedback regarding it. It's quite incredible. We thought we might build in a switch when we designed it to turn it off because it was something new, and in case the parents didn't
Mhm.
want it necessarily, but everyone's kept it on, so it's pretty incredible actually.
Yeah. No, my kids love it. And when I first saw it, I was, comparing it from the old way. On the left-hand side of the screen, you'll see a green progress bar. So the child knows how far along they're going in the lesson. And now on the right side, you see this mastery bar. And like you said, just visually, it's so exciting for the children as they're going through it. They can see how far along they're getting, how well they're doing. And it's just amazing how just those little stars that will pop up and just excite them as they're doing the lesson can just really boost that confidence and really help them even more so than what you already had, which was good, but this is definitely great.
Yeah, I think a bit of background information, and this might get a bit techie, but we wanted to work out a way of getting students doing more questions because they see 10 questions, 10 interactive questions at a time when they complete a lesson.
Yeah.
But because there's such a wide range of questions, they weren't seeing the most difficult questions. They were only
Mm.
seeing if they did the lesson once, that is. So if they only went in, watched the video tutorial, did a set of 10 questions, and just left it at that, they were only seeing either the medium, maybe even some hard questions, depending on their ability and their progress. We wanted them to see the hard and challenging when they were ready for that, but sort of figure out a way to encourage the students to click in and do more questions.
Wow.
Uh, and
That's really
and
good.
this was the way. And while we were at it, we redesigned the interface a little bit. We thought this is a great opportunity to redesign the student interface. So, yeah, that's just a bit of history. We, of course, surveyed a whole lot of people, families, I should say, using CTC Math and asked them how to best do this, and we got some really good feedback, which was awesome.
Oh, it's really smart because if you just put on the bottom when you finish the lesson, there's something you can click. I can't remember exactly what it says, but complete more or try to get
More
mastery
questions.
and more
Yeah.
questions. The kids are not necessarily going to be super excited about clicking those more questions. So this is a brilliant way to encourage them to do so. And my kids love it.
Yeah. Awesome.
So I was wondering, one excellent feature about CTC Math is it's one price for the entire family. And the founder, he has 10 children. So
10 children.
he, realized that he needed to make something easy for families with many children. How can CTC Math help homeschooling families with multiple children?
Oh, great question. Great question. Yeah, the family pricing is definitely a massive help. But Pat gets homeschooling and he gets large families, partly because he's a homeschooler. And of course, he's got 10 children, 5 boys, 5 girls. And I think, you think of the day-to-day challenges, of homeschooling, and then throw in the mix multiple children. Well, Pat really outsources your teaching. All the teaching is done for you. So each student has their own individualized account. They can log in, individualized results recorded. You can use a computer, a tablet device, or even a phone. We don't entirely recommend that, but the application does work on any device. You just require an internet connection. And the learn at your own pace really helps to facilitate, multiple children learning at the same time. So if you've got a math class and you've got 4 or 5 kiddos all doing math at different levels, well, CTC Math really helps because they just click into their level. They watch the video tutorials, which are short, concise, to the point. Pat has an incredible ability to deliver aha moments, literally light bulb moments. And the program really does facilitate that well. Taking it a step further, we've got the adaptive questions, which adjust in difficulty. This child doesn't know this is happening, so we're really holding their hand, trying to build confidence as they work through their math. You can set tasks if you want to, so you automate the lessons that are going to appear for the children, complete accountability. You're getting those reports. You don't have to do this. CTC Math sort of gives you all the tools, and you pick and choose the tools most necessary for you and your family. There are a few other things there, but I think when a curriculum goes, okay, a family membership is not actually capped. We don't say that a family membership just comes with 3 seats in the program. We go, look, it's all your children at the one low price. It indicates that, hey, we got your back.
Yeah, that's incredible. I'm using it with 4 of my 5 kids right now, and it is such a heavy burden lifted. It really is, because math is not my subject. So I remember when I first started teaching, in the younger years, I would spend a long time just sitting at the table working on math, and it was really stressful. And now, I'm just so relieved and thankful that, my kids can use this and I can focus my time and energy and what I'm good at and focus on those subjects with the kids. And this is, something that they can work on their own. And of course, I'm there to help them when they need help. My kindergartner, he just started using it, brand new, just started, and he loves it. But of course, he needs my help, getting used to how to do it and everything once he knows how to click on. Now, this is one thing we can talk about. If somebody doesn't know how to read, right? And there's a way that they can still interact once they, learn how to use a device or computer or laptop or whatever they're using. There is a way for them to click and have the question read to them, correct?
Correct. Yeah, there's a speaker icon next to each and every question, particularly all the primary lessons. So my 6-year-old and 4-year-old daughters both use CTC Math independently.
Wow. Okay, good.
Emma, the 6-year-old, tries to read the question. She tries to sound out the question, but of course she doesn't get all the words. and she'll
Yeah.
click on the speaker icon, and it actually helps facilitate, helps teach her
Yeah.
read as well. But my 4-year-old just jumps straight for the speaker icon, and yeah. So again, it really you can really outsource math completely. They can learn independently. It's a full math curriculum,
Yeah.
and there's all the tools and features in there to allow the child to do it themselves. You don't have to worry.
Wow, that's incredible. But of course, the parent is still involved. Parents will receive emails, they'll receive updates. I
For sure.
love receiving those in my inbox. So I know, okay, this is how many days my one child worked on it. Oh, he didn't do it on Thursday. Or only did it 3 out of 5 days this week. So I can get on him for that. So, it's really helpful for that accountability factor.
Yeah.
Okay, so now we are in September in the US. Everybody has started either in August or September, and most people are into the groove, and maybe their math curriculum is not working out the way they were hoping. Maybe they want to start with CTC Math. If a family wants to change curricula partway through the year, is CTC Math a good fit?
CTC Math can always be a good fit. And I would say that if you're partway through a curricula or a certain curriculum, you can go to that program and ask for a refund, because if CTC Math wasn't a good fit for you, we would certainly give you a refund. Our program comes with a 365-day money-back guarantee for any reason or no reason whatsoever. If you want your money back, if you're switching to another program, if CTC Math was not a good fit for you and your family, you just send us an email, give us a call, and we'll refund your entire payment, no questions asked.
Wow.
Now, if you're coming to CTC Math, we have a few tools to help make that adjustment a little bit easier. We have diagnostic tests, and we have a great how-to video on how to implement those placement tests. So when you log into the parents area, there's a need help button in the top right-hand corner. You can click on that and review the placement test video, and that will help sort of transition. And because we do know math is a building block, and not all programs are going to be graded exactly the same or teach concepts at the exact same time. So you really want to identify any gaps or any adjustments, make any adjustments. We're always here to help. So if you have questions, even if you're not using CTC Math, if you have general math questions, you can always give us a call, send us an email, and we're really here to help that, adjustment. But what I love when comparing multiple programs is to, you really, well, what's the test here? What do you want out of your math program? And I think the big thing is the video tutorials. You want the kids to understand, because from a textbook, kids are going to struggle to learn. It's hard to read math out of a textbook and then learn it. It needs to be explained to them. It needs to be taught to them. They need to visualize it, see it, hear it. The multisensory approach all comes into play. So if mom or dad are not going to do all of that, even if they're still going to do a little bit and need some assistance, you really got to find a program that does that well for your child. So I always say, pull up the same lesson across multiple programs and get your child to watch it and ask them, who taught you fractions better? Who taught you 4-digit addition better, or 4-digit subtraction? Who did a better job there? And that is a great test. So if your child is struggling and it is partway through the year, pull up some other ones and put them to the test.
Wow. I mean, what an opportunity for homeschoolers to be able to have that chance to say, we can pick whatever math program we want. We don't have to be locked in to a certain program, and to even be able to compare the different programs you're talking about is such a blessing for sure. I want to go back to what you were saying about how parents can pick and choose, the different aspects of CTC Math to use, because I think that is a big struggle for a lot of families. They buy a curriculum, they say, oh, we need to check off all the boxes, make sure we get every single thing done. But that isn't necessarily how CTC Math works, because you have so many extras. You have the different not reports, but you have the different worksheets that can either be done online or printed out that the parents can create. I know you talked about it a little bit, but can you talk a little bit more how that can be used practically um, with a child who might be struggling to learn some basic concepts?
Yeah, so the question bank wizard is a really cool tool that allows, and again, you pick and choose the tools. You don't have to use this feature, but it's there, it's available for you. If you want additional worksheets or additional help, or you want to, scope out a test or an assessment of some sort, you can go in, you can create a custom worksheet. It can be based on one lesson or multiple lessons, and it allows you to choose the difficulty level, the number of questions, how long you want it to go for. You can even create working out space, so you can print it and have them do it using pen and paper. You can set it as a task, have it bring up the solutions, print off the solution so you can mark it. It's a really, really neat and complete tool that allows you to create these custom worksheets, and you can create as many as you want. That's all built in the parents area.
Yeah.
We really recommend you take a look at that. It's pretty self-explanatory, pretty easy to navigate. But again, top right-hand corner, need help, or call or email, and we'll walk you through it.
I love that. So the parent can still be there right alongside their child, helping with whatever they need help with, but the hard stuff is done by CTC Math. So that's absolutely wonderful.
For sure.
In today's world, are the challenges concerning teaching math changing?
Yes. Yeah, I think so. I think so. I think so. I think there's multiple challenges. I think the curriculum can be a bit of a challenge in itself and changes, and sort of the pathways that sometimes the so-called experts go down. Pat's pretty strong on this. He sort of says, the traditional methods, the methods that have stood the test of time, are really the ones that we should be teaching our kids. And of course, there's multiple ways we can teach the same concept. And don't get me wrong, in CTC Math, we do that. We sort of say, okay, this is one way you can attack the problem, and then in another video tutorial right underneath, we'll say, okay, for the same sort of problem, you can also do it this way. And then at the end, he says, pick and choose the method that you most understand, that's easiest for you, that you get. You're not locked into, being forced to do math a certain way,
Right.
which makes very little sense to us. The process of getting to the final answer with math is a bit of a journey, but it shouldn't be one of complete discovery. We shouldn't throw our children in the forest and say, find your own way out type thing.
Right.
If I could use that sort of analogy, we should find the easiest method to sort of help them navigate and really walk by their side and go, oh, okay, you probably want to go under here and over here and through the side here, and I think that's one of the big challenges in today when it comes to teaching math, because a lot of people are bought into this idea, and the poor kids are suffering as a result of it. What's wrong with the traditional methods? What's wrong with the methods that have really stood the test of time, that we've used, for generations and have worked so well and so efficiently? Why do we need to change it up? Don't get me wrong. There's things that we can always work on and improve and learn more about our children and their understanding and their capabilities and inbuild that. But, teaching addition a crazy way that no one's ever taught after all these years seems a bit ludicrous to us.
Yeah. No, I agree completely. And it can just cause more frustration with the children. And they can start thinking something's wrong with them, but you can just remind them and assure them and tell them other people have been able to do this. Let's see how they did it. You can do it too.
Yeah. And it gets into a bit of a spiral, huh? It gets into a bit of a spiral. So the child's shown something and it's really confusing and really muddled. And this can happen actually when you have when your teacher's not very good, or you've got some learning gaps. You've got some gaps in your knowledge. So they see a concept, They don't get it. Now, they don't get it for a couple of reasons. A, the prior knowledge was not taught to them. They don't know that. They can't sort of recognize and go, hey, I don't know how to do this because I wasn't taught this. The kids, it's very difficult to do that for a child in math. Or it could be that the explanation was just so poor, or, you know, really long-winded, and they lose concentration and they just don't get it.
Right.
And they don't understand. And then they're really confused. And then they go on to the next, but they battle through it and they somehow, you know, pass, or they tell mom and dad, yeah, it's all good. And this sort of pattern happens and repeats itself. And then, you know, they get to the concept that builds on the previous concept and they're even more lost. And then they're stuck in this cycle. They're stuck in this cycle of not being able to get math. And they think it's difficult. They think it's hard, and they're discouraged. And the more discouraged they are, the more self-defeating they become. So they might watch 30 seconds of the new lesson and go, I don't get it. I'm over this, you know?
Yeah.
I'm out of it. So this is where it's key. It's really important to hit the reset button to find something that works, go back, fill the gaps, fill all the gaps in. And really, no one wants to do something that's very difficult and seems impossible. There's no fun in that. And you can see the expression on the child's face.
Yeah. Or their attitude when you say it's math time. But you know, go ahead.
We've got countless reviews where the parent says, we turn math from tears to joy, you know.
Aww.
No more math tears. No more math.
Yeah, I believe it. It's good. And one thing I want to touch on before we finish this interview is, you know, some parents with multiple children might have that one child, and maybe you were spoiled like me with the first child getting math, like no problem. Like they can do it. And you're like, oh, okay, teaching math isn't that bad. And then you get another child and they just need to learn a different way. And it doesn't mean there's anything wrong with them. It doesn't mean just because they have to, you know, maybe work a little harder than the other child, it doesn't mean, you know, that you as a parent are doing anything wrong. It just means that they need to work harder, and they can still get it. They just might need to learn it a little differently. And so I love CTC Math because there are different ways that a child can learn depending on their needs.
Yeah, and each child is so unique and so beautiful and has their own strengths and weaknesses. How boring would it be if we all had the same abilities, huh? It would be so boring.
That's true.
So everyone, I think, needs to excel in what they do best. But it's also important to have that solid foundation of math that will really help them, because it really encourages a creative way of thinking and problem solving. It gives you a skill set in life to problem solve and to think through things. So sometimes a little too much. So when my wife comes to me with a problem, I automatically want to solve it, being a math person. She says, no, I just want you to listen. Okay. I'm learning.
I love that. If you could give homeschooling families one piece of advice right now in the climate we're in, what would that advice be?
Yeah. Perseverance. Keep going. You guys are doing an incredible job. I mean, how awesome that the parent can be the primary educator of their child. No one knows their children better than themselves. I heard a great talk recently on parenting, and this guy came across as a super expert in the field of parenting and was so knowledgeable. And he wrapped it up by saying, as much study as I've done, as much practice I've done with my own children, I could never parent your children better than you. I could do probably a good job, but there's no way I could do it better than you as the parent. And I went, wow, how true is that? You know, that sort of, I'm the only person on this earth that could give them the maximum level of parenting, so to speak, if you could sort of grade it or assess it or measure it. I like to measure everything. But I'm the only person that can do the best possible job at this. Maybe if we frame it like that. and it's awesome. It's fantastic. I can't sort of use any words to describe it. When a parent really takes that responsibility of education into their own hands and does something about that. And
Wow.
we know it gets difficult. We know it gets hard. And we know there's some rough days in there. And we always want to help with that. We don't want to make your homeschooling journey. We just want to make it easier, I should say. And our number one goal and our number one motto is to help as many homeschooling families as possible. And we really stand by it. I think the 12-month money back guarantee is an indication of that. So persevere, keep going. You're doing an incredible job, and we're here to support.
Wow. That is so incredible and so encouraging. And I think for the parents who might be tempted to compare themselves with others, that just relieves so much stress, realizing, oh, we don't need to compare ourselves because we have our own children that we're responsible for, and God has a plan for them, and everyone else is going to look a little different, and that's okay.
100%. That is so good.
So you mentioned you have, the money back guarantee. You have so many wonderful offerings, one price for the whole family, no cap on the amount of children. And I was wondering if you could just let our audience know where they can go and what kind of deal you actually have for homeschoolers, because it is a pretty incredible deal when it comes to the price.
Yeah. So homeschoolers get a half price discount. Pat takes care of his homeschool buddies, homeschool friends. If you visit our website, CTCMath.com, and just click on the homeschooling tab, you'll be able to unlock that half price homeschool discount. If you're on the Old School House magazine mailing list, that we quite often run an offer where you get a bonus 6 months if you register for 12 months. So for one low price of $148.50, it's math for all your children for a year and a half,
Wow.
or $98.50 for a single student. And again, that's for 18 months, for a year and a half.
Wow.
So you can log on to our website. You can Google CTC Math Reviews and find some independent websites to find out more about the program. Go on YouTube. There's a lot of demos of the program. We also offer, of course, a free trial. And
Right.
but if you got any questions, you can always jump on a call. I think I've said that a few times now, but
That's great.
even if you're not using the program, please, we're always here to help.
And you can always go to homeschoolreviewcrew.com
Yeah.
and type in CTC Math. There's been plenty of reviews. I know some pretty glowing and raving reviews as well over there. You can check those out too. So our good friend.
A new batch were just released, actually.
What's that?
A new batch were just released.
I didn't realize that. Oh, wonderful. I'll have to check those out. Oh, that's great. So some new faces, some new families, some new kids checking it out. That's wonderful. So our good friend Jamie has a question. Parents are coming into homeschooling quickly these days. What can you say to them?
Yeah, I think it's again, lean on experience, lean on advice. So the parents that are the new parents, the new families, I think that's what Jamie's referring to there. I think there's a wealth of experience now. It's a bit like parenting for the first time, but you can read all the expert guides, and you can have heaps of opinions, and even you could get multiple pieces of advice on the same thing from multiple experts, and so. But at the end of the day, we're built for this as parents. This is our natural sort of innate wiring. So just go for it. Go for it. Use your instinct. If you think that's the best method to use, go for it. Now, if you need help, if you need advice, if you're struggling in one area, that's when you can tap into and lean on them. Lean on that community, because it is an amazing community. There's some fantastic Facebook groups out there, and some of them have their own niche or their own angle that they're going at, and you might want to join that. So I think that's the two bits of advice. The first one is that we were built for this. We can do it. Go for it. Two, when the going gets tough in a certain area, tap into that.
That's really good advice. Thank you so much, Nadeem. Thank you for your time again, and thank you everyone for tuning in. If you are new to homeschooling and you want to check out schoolhouseteachers.com, you can head over to the Join Now page and you will see a Bright Beginnings kit. And you can get that for only $299, and that will cover everything that you need for your homeschool year. It even includes 2 hours of mentor mom time where you can get on the phone and talk with a homeschooling mom that can help you navigate how to use the site and how to get started with homeschooling. So head over there and check that out. And we will see you next time on another Homeschool Live.